Okay, just want to talk really briefly. This is the broker moment. It won't be much more than a moment. When you guys have a file that you're working on particular information, you put all that stuff in a file folder. And I want to have you guys thinking command in the same way. I've seen a lot of examples of people not using command correctly. And what happens is it gets really confusing. By law, you must keep track of every contract that you ever received as a listing agent or that you ever wrote as a buyer's agent. And so if you receive multiple offers on a property, you have to keep them somewhere. Now I'm going to jump over here. We have over here the custom folder section of what looks like a page in command. This is the under contract folder. And in custom folders, you would add documents for every one of your offers that you wrote or that you received that didn't go anywhere. You need to keep those. The one that goes under contract obviously gets prime spots, and we have spaces for those executed documents. Does that make sense over here? Use your custom folders. But what about when I went under contract and I filled out all the stuff? Now where do I put the documents? Is there another file folder for them? Why, yes, there is. If you will click on next to the under contract, you see there's a little drop down button. That drop down button allows you to add another version or another folder. What I find people doing is on their listings or on their buyers, they create a new opportunity. They have to upload all their buyer documents, all their listing documents to do that again. What a pain in the tush. How about just create a new version right here? And it literally gives you all brand new docs. So you don't get rid of the old documents, but you get a new folder to put your stuff in. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, will you please pick on me, pick on Angie, or pick on Katie, and we'll make you dangerous. Katie at the front desk, because you're going to get all the questions, I promise. Yeah, you are paid. You're a pro. All right. But we'll spend time. We'll get that done. But does that make sense? Anybody have questions on how to use folders? I hope you've used computers enough that you figure out what folders are for, but I did that on purpose. I want you to think that way. Oh, I have a new offer. I literally was looking at a file this morning. It had all the docs filled in for, is on a listing. That one died. And so what they did is they just started adding additional docs for the new offer. Here's the Rep C, and here are all the addenda underneath that one. Oh my gosh. Don't do that to your broker or to Randy. Okay, that's all we have. And so we're going to turn it over to Shoni. Do you do a quick introduction? And
yeah, we actually had Chandler in here a couple weeks ago to do a quick introduction. And honestly, you'll see some of the results, some of the videos that they've created. And I wanted to bring him in here. He actually recorded the AI Summit for us and did a phenomenal job. And I wanted him to come in and really just help you understand the power of storytelling, especially when it comes to selling real estate. The only way we're actually going to close deals is if we get really effective on the marketing side, right? We have to find clients first. We have to lead generate. And a lot of that comes down to storytelling. And so I'm happy to have Chandler come up. We actually went to high school together, and he's been working on this craft for what, 12, 13, 15 years now. So a long time. And so he's an expert when it comes to the psychology of influence and marketing. So he's going to talk to us about video creation, content creation, and really how you can really effectively promote your brand. So excited to welcome Chandler. Give him a hand.
Yeah. Mind if I use this chair for a little stand? Awesome. For those of you that remember, I appreciated you guys coming to my birthday party a couple weeks ago. That was really nice of you for RSVPing to the wrong QR code. Sometimes we make mistakes, Huh? What do you want? Oh, on my sleeve, yeah. On my sleeve. Okay, I can do that. Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate Shoni having me here. It's real fun. Like you said, we went to high school together, and this one works. Okay, sweet. And while I was there, actually, there was a teacher that got me into the video world. Remember Russ Mayo? Yeah. You know Russ? Yeah. It's interesting, I'm sure every one of us in this room has somebody who has influenced us in our lives. He would definitely be at the top. And as far as a teacher and being willing to help people go through that process, how it really kind of started with the video world was there was an opportunity to make a documentary in high school for the high school film festival, and he just 100% helped me out. And I actually won the Utah High School Film Festival award, and I was like so shocked, I couldn't believe it, in the documentary category. And I was like, I'm actually good at this. And then I started a small business at the time while still in high school doing some video content. And yeah, just progressed in the career from there and worked in a couple different jobs that I didn't love. And I had to realign with my passion. That's why I've called it Aligned Media Productions. And I think that's an important thing is no matter what you do for work, we find that passion point on what really sells the job to us and why we're doing what we're doing. Everybody hears that common phrase, especially in network marketing, what's your why, right? But it's very accurate and it's really important. We use that in storytelling all the time. So like I said, appreciate the opportunity to be able to teach you guys, and maybe already know a lot of these different things, but I think today you'll learn at least one or two takeaways that can help you connect specifically through video and leveraging your story through video with your potential customers and past customers. So I know with real estate, having, don't play the video yet, yeah, but I know with real estate, I've purchased 2 different properties in my lifetime. The reason I worked with a specific agent is you could really tell that she cared about me and she really cared about what was important to us. Now, was she perfect? Absolutely not. Am I perfect? Absolutely. So, that's how every client feels, right? They feel like what they're doing is perfect, and there's frustrations along the way, but she crushed it. She did a really good job. I really enjoyed that element, and I think that if you can connect that way to help somebody see that you care about them and that their priorities are important to them, if we can connect that through story, that's super powerful. I would like to show you guys a video that we created, a reel that shows the depth of what I have done when it comes to video. I'd love for you to see it, so you know that I'm really actually do make cool videos. Last time it didn't really show because the music wasn't loud enough. Music is like 90% of it, so we got to crank that if that's okay. I'd love to show you guys what our reel of the past projects, the last couple. So obviously that's like really extreme, like crazy cinematic shots and everything. I'm expecting you to do that with your iPhones tomorrow, okay? Because Apple says that you can, right? All the commercials. Yeah, so we can switch to the next one here. I love what I do for work, and I love every single time we work with a client, we go through the same exact process that we're going to take you guys through today to help them come up with what story for the scripts and the overall content campaigns that we do. So we don't approach a project where you just make one video. A lot of very large video agencies that charge $600,000 to $2 million for a commercial, they make one video and 3 variations. So you see those like during the Super Bowl, they make like a 60-second version and a 30-second version and different variations. We have felt like, obviously we don't, I would love to charge that much. If you know clients that are ready to pay us, that would be so cool. But we've created so much value in the video marketplace where we're able to approach every single project and really maximize our time while we're doing it. So I'm going to teach you how to do the exact same thing for yourself so that you can sit down, make some video content with your phones or whatever film equipment that you have. I think you guys have some access to some stuff, some tools here as well. So basically utilize the tools you have access with along with this format, then the formula we'll teach you. But what I wanted to say was, if you couldn't tell, we do a lot in the automotive industry, right? And just because we do a lot in the automotive industry doesn't mean that we can't also give you guys these tools that will utilize that connective storytelling strategy for your customers in the real estate market. One, because I am a real estate customer. Shoni, he's aware of something I'm working on right now. And so, I know how to connect with whatever market using this storytelling format is applicable to any industry. So keep that in mind. So today, what I want to cover is 3 different aspects. Of course, I mean, how many of you feel like just being an agent, there's a lot of noise to break through in general, without video aside? Anybody feel that way when it comes to selling real estate? There's a lot of noise to break through. Has anybody noticed, or actually, has anyone here done any video content on their own? I'd like to see anyone who's had experience creating stuff. Yeah? Seems like quite a bit. Anybody that is terrified to do anything with video? Raise your hands really high, even though you're terrified. It's terrifying. I love being behind the camera. This, absolutely hate right now. So yeah, it can be a really scary thing. But I'm going to help you go through the parts that are scary so you're able to focus on the passion and the excitement of what you do. So the 4-question storytelling framework that connects, we'll go through that in a second. And then would love to give you guys basically an idea that each one of you can utilize for that content campaign. So we're going to take one person through the process, and then you'll be able to learn through that. So when I asked you guys to RSVP to my birthday party, that was the dumbest thing ever. Or when I asked you guys to scan the QR code so that I could see people put their email addresses in there, there were 3 or 4 people that put in there. I was wondering if, I think her name was Jennifer. Why is she here? Yeah, she's not here. Okay, then there is another person. Let's see. Maybe make sure I got the right person here. Kylie Raleigh? Is Kylie here? Okay. Who would love to, that's never done video before, would love to go through this process? First person to raise their hand gets to be, there we go. Okay, I was actually you in the back there, Mr. Hat. So come on up here for a second. I'd love to go through the process with somebody. Let's go through this real quick.
Mr. Hat.
Mr. Hat. Actually, what's your real name?
Spencer.
Spencer, nice to meet you. See if I can get you a chair. Actually, you don't need to be in a, it's good. Okay, there you go. Now you have 2 chairs, just in case. Okay. So what I want to do is go through, anybody here ever use ChatGPT for like brain farts? Sorry for the F word. Never? Okay, perfect. So has anyone here never used ChatGPT? Everyone here has. I hope you did, because Shoni made a very compelling argument to utilize AI tools to take away from the things that just suck our time, basically. We started using ChatGPT as soon as it came out with clients so we could start building some of the initial scripts. And it gets us about 50% there. And I think maybe you guys have felt the same way. I don't recommend using that completely, because then you'll sound the exact same as everybody else. So I'll sit down with you and we'll go through the process. I'm blocking the camera, which is totally fine. But so I want to go through that process. The first thing here, when we ask the questions, give me 1 second here. Okay. So this is the 4-question framework that we use for telling stories. And I think Shoni will send this presentation to you. The presentation was also made with AI, thanks to Shoni teaching me about Gamma. So I really, really love that tool. So I want to kind of go through some of the questions. I'm going to just type as fast as my fingers will let me. We could definitely like do a recording device that can transcript everything, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to kind of go through it. So I'm going to take some notes here first, then I'll put them in ChatGPT and we'll go from there. So tell me a little bit about like, how long have you been in the industry in real estate?
Bought my first house 8 years ago, but then didn't get my license till I think it's been 3.5 years now.
Should we get you a microphone too? Maybe this blue one, yeah.
Because I could talk louder.
No, that's good. I don't have to.
About 3.5 years.
I don't know if it's on. There you go. Okay, so in 3.5 years in real estate, we'll just call it 4 years. Another thing too, by the way, when it comes to time, I always suggest saying the year you started something as opposed to how many years you've been doing something so that it's more evergreen. That's really important. Just throwing that out there.
Back in 1992.
Is that when you were born?
Yeah.
Me too.
Came into my first house.
That's perfect. Like, oh, he's old. Wow. That's awesome. So 4 years in real estate. I just want to get that a little bit. So when we talk about this framework here, I'll stand up here for a second. How many of you have heard like, oh, you have to have a hook in the beginning of the video? Every single time. And how many times have you watched videos, especially in like the 50s, 60s, 70s commercials where it was like very, very, very focused on the problem for like a minute and a half? We don't do that anymore. In fact, my philosophy has always been to focus on the solution, much more on the solution, making people feel good. That's been our approach. And that's what makes us a little bit different, because a lot of people disagree with me that like, no, you need a problem hook. And I agree to an extent, but you'll see when I'm done with this what that really looks like. I would much rather watch a video that starts with the positive message as opposed to, do you feel super fat and disappointed in your life? You feel like you can't even get out of bed in the morning because you're so fat? Like, you need Ozempic. Yeah, I don't like that hook. Like, do you want to feel empowered with energy when you wake up in the morning, that knowing that you can tackle your problems, be there present with your children, be with your wife, make sure that every single thing that you do is intentional? That sounds way more fun. You need Ozempic. I'm just kidding. So I like the intro of that way more personally. And I think a lot of our customers, especially in like with our eBay Motors client, they like that too. The eBay buyers really resonate with positive and reinforcement. I think a lot of children do as well. And so we're basically trying to utilize that psychology of positive reinforcement storytelling. So, all right. So tell me, what is the problem that you solve? Like, really focus on the solution. As a real estate agent, what is the problem that you solve?
Let's see, I can think of the thing that I bring. Let's see, that's a good question.
Great.
What is I bring freedom,
Elaborate on that a little bit.
meaning I bring the ability to have more decisions financially and in living circumstances.
I love that. And if you were, sometimes when people are struggling with like a question like this, for example, like, I don't know like what my solution is. What are the problems that the holes and the gaps that you see in the real estate market that you personally see that you feel like that stand out to you?
Yeah, so affordability is the biggest one I think right now.
Okay. And how do people feel? Like, how does that make them, how are your customers feeling about those frustrations, those pain points?
Yeah, definitely frustrated, doubtful that they're, especially over the last couple of years when people were saying like, oh, there's gonna be a big crash and there's not. So kind of like this frustration and doubt that things will get better for them. And a sense of maybe even a sense of hopelessness. And
And what is your message to those people, like to solve that issue?
that there's tons of creative ways. Like you don't have to just be stuck in the same box of doing the same thing how it's always been done. That there's things like seller financing. There's new construction. There's house hacking. There's just so many ways to get into to build an asset that people just don't really talk about because it might sound scary or unique or different, and because of that, people like to feel, comfortable and knowledgeable. And so when they're saying something like seller financing or something, that's like, oh, that's scary. I don't want to touch that. And so, but I think getting comfortable with those kinds of things is helpful.
Love that. So I would almost start a script like that because he's really focusing in on the fact that people feel like they just can't. It's changed so much, and it really has in like 8 years. Actually, it's been 10 years since my wife and I bought our house in 2016. It was such a different time. Like we bought our house for $320,000. We all hear that story, right? Now it's worth $700,000, and I would have like never paid that much for that house. 10 years ago, there's no way. Can't get a 2.95% interest rate anymore, all these different things. And so we have to admit the fact that things have changed. And so I would almost start a video like that with a positive hook. the approach to home ownership has changed so significantly, and so can your approach too. How does that work? Boom, 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 boom. So we'll kind of dive into that. It's like kind of the beginning of how I would start a video for your specific
Cool.
direction of telling that story. Because then I'm like, oh, he's going to talk about something cool. And somebody earlier, I forget, what was your name again? Taylor, you were talking about some really creative things that my wife and I actually used when we bought our home. We didn't know that it was like a Utah housing program. We had gone through the whole process. We saved all the money, put it down, and then last second, our mortgage officer was like, "Hey, you could actually, look at this Utah housing program." And our actual at the time, they were forgiving the second mortgage up to a certain amount, and so we were able to get a bunch of money back. And that was one of the ways that we were able to buy a home 10 years ago as 20, 23-year-old kids. I feel like, I say can't. That's not true. You can do anything, but it's really difficult now, I feel like, to do that. So there are really creative solutions out there. That's one of the things that you could talk about, for example, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the approach to homeownership has changed. Let me just kind of have that as like a little nugget here. Let me just switch that. So is this kind of making sense so far? We're going through that process, asking more questions. Obviously, if you're doing this on your own, go through that process. Ask yourself the question again and again and again. And if you're struggling with the solution, find out what the problem is, and then we turn it to the opposite perspective of the positive perspective. So we focus on the problem. What's the opposite of, frustration? We go through that process. So the next part is connection. Connecting this to your audience. And the way that I've always asked this question before was, how do you relate that solution to your audience? Or in other words, the question is, let me find out what I had here. One second. How can your audience see themselves in that solution? So showing empathy, relatability, share a story or a scenario that mirrors your audience's experience. Example, I've worked with so many families who were in the same shoes, unsure, nervous, and they were just hoping for someone who would listen and guide them. So you're relating this to them, helping them see, okay, he's gone through this exact same scenario, and you're painting the picture for your audience of what you're going to do for them by stating, again, the solution to the problem. So if I were to go through that with you, we're keeping that same perspective in mind, that you're bringing freedom to clients and that the approach to homeownership has changed. How do you relate that solution to your audience? Maybe an example that you could take them through.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably just telling a story would be the best of just like a specific client. Just saying like, I mean, there's one just 3 months ago that was paying $1,900 a month in rent, and now they're paying $900 a month for their mortgage because of house hacking and buying down the rate. 2-1 buy down plus house hacking, they're literally paying like half of their rent. And they're building the equity, and then they'll sell in a couple years and then get those tax benefits of living there the 2 out of the 5 years.
So one of the people are going to ask, they might allude to wondering, what is house hacking? What is house hacking in like one sentence?
Renting out a portion of your home
Thank you.
to subsidize the mortgage.
Subletting, whatever terminology we want to use. One thing we want to keep in mind too is when we build scripts, especially with ChatGPT, you can actually ask it, what are some keywords, some searchable words over the last 90 days that I could throw on my script, so I can index that video and place it on a blog post or on my website so that it's more searchable in local areas. That's another little tip as well as you're creating videos, is find wording language that you can transcribe from key search words and how you can throw that into your videos. Makes it more searchable, specifically on YouTube, and not so much on Facebook and Instagram, but definitely on YouTube, and then embedding that video through the embed code on your website or a blog.
So if I said like, I bought this house in Iran 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe that would.
exactly. Oh, Iran, bang.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean to say bang right after that. That was really bad. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean that. All right. Renting out a portion of your home. That's what house hacking is. Okay. Awesome. So now they're only paying $900 a month for an asset that they own. A growing asset. Okay. Okay. That's perfect. Now the next part is, what makes your approach, your tools, the benefits you provide unique? What are some of the tools that you individually uniquely provide?
Yeah, I guess just the creativity of different approaches to financing. So I talk to lenders multiple times a week. I have a goal to, at least talk to one once a week and get creative solutions from all of them on what their newest products are and what their, latest approaches are, what's working for their clients, and then use those to help my clients finance based on their specific needs and situations and desires.
Love that. So you really help a client get to the end zone. Like what you're really focusing on, not just, you know, I think there's got to be a piece of this too, where, how do you approach like your customer relationships? I'm going to add that too. Was that another tool that you offer? Like, or something that makes you unique is like do you have like a system of communication, or what makes your personal connection different?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably do better on some of that.
Not focusing on the problem, we're
Yeah.
focused on what you do great,
Uh,
right?
I have to think about that a little bit more on my systems of communication. I mean, Brittany's been has changed that around in the last couple months, so she's doing most of the communication now.
Well, I guess maybe a different way to phrase this is, what is important to you in customer relationship building?
Um, I guess just providing the value, providing enough freedom to them, giving them enough choices and opportunities where they feel they want to come back the next time and say, "Hey, this guy gave us the most amount of options based on what we're wanting and looking for. So let's go back and use him again."
Love that. Okay, and then what would you say is an invitation or a call to action, using your own words of like, why someone should work with you? Why would you invite them to work with you?
I guess for those, yeah, those same reasons. More than anything, I guess to build wealth so that they can have the freedom of time to do what they want to do. Most people don't. I mean, I would think most people don't like really really love their job day in and day out, and they might rather be just helping people or mentoring or doing what like all those cool social influencer people are doing and flying helicopters or whatever. um, but they might be wanting to do something else, and so giving them opportunities to get to that point earlier than later is one of the biggest reasons.
Sweet. And do you have like any branding thing for your stuff, like a typical like I don't know, maybe you have like your own real estate name, like here
Yeah.
at
Rohan Realty.
Rohan Realty,
Yeah.
we blah 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 for you. I do have like a slogan or anything like that. Or thing that you
So the
say?
thing that got me into real estate was the original Declaration of Independence actually said life, liberty, and the pursuit of property, and that was synonymous with happiness. So later they changed that in the second draft to happiness, and so that was like always stuck with me for the past like 10 years. And so just that synonym of property, meaning back in the day that property meant land. So owning your own land was equitable to happiness
Perfect.
because it meant prosperity, it meant freedom for your family to develop, to progress. So all those things. So that's kind of what like it says under my logo or whatever.
Perfect. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna put this all in. One more time. How do I spell your name and your business
Yeah,
name?
Rohan Spencer Hughes, Rohan, Rohan Realty, as in yes, Middle Earth.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, muster the Rohirrim.
Perfect. All right, we're almost done here, guys. Awesome. Okay, so it's gonna spit this out. It's gonna give you something based on real answers to real questions, not just coming up with something from scratch. Because he could have just said, "Hey, make me a 60-second script that connects with my audience and helps me, know how I'm able to, sell real estate to people and I provide cool options." Boom, and it could make a cool script. But we spent 10, 15 minutes going through real answers, real story, real things that are important to Spencer, and we're able to plug that into this amazing tool We'll see what it spits out, and then we'll edit that tool from there. And then we're going to take that language that we complete from this original script to create 3 additional videos as well. And I've already got a direction that I would suggest for you and anybody in this room to take this exact same format. So here's what it came up with. 8 years ago, I bought my first house. It changed my life. That's why I got into real estate, because I believe home ownership should bring freedom, not fear. Too many people feel stuck. This is where it's getting into the problem. You could start the video with this as the hook instead of the related portion of he's saying he got a house 8 years ago. So you can choose what makes more sense. Too many people feel stuck in real estate. Rent is high, the market's uncertain, and everyone's waiting for things to get better. But there are creative ways to make it happen. Right now, from seller financing to house hacking to new construction, the tools are already there. You just need someone who knows how to use them. 3 months ago, one of my clients went from renting at $1,900 a month to owning a home and paying under $900. That's house hacking, and that's building a future. I work with lenders every week to explore new products, creative financing, and custom solutions that actually fit your life, because real estate should give you options, choices, and freedom. Let's build wealth and time freedom together. Call me and let's bring your opportunity to life. Rohan Realty, life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. Like that's
Daggum.
yeah. So boom. That's how easy it is. 10, 15 minutes and you got a super awesome real script. Do you think that AI could have just pulled that from a couple of different prompts? I think it'd get 25% there, but not what we just put together. You need to change this to meet your own language and everything, but that was awesome, dude. I appreciate it. So way to go.
Send that to me.
Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you, don't worry. So there's 3 other videos that I would take from this campaign while he's already sitting down with the phone. There's other 3 different videos that I would suggest, and then we'll end on this. I'll be real quick. And I would invite you guys to do this exact same process as well. So you make that promo/origin story. I told ChatGPT to make that a 60-second version. Also turn it into a 30-second version. You can edit these videos with a tool called CapCut. You can even take off the logo at the bottom if you've probably already seen that before, so that it doesn't show somebody else's brand. You could also use, I believe, where do we have it? Nope. Submagic.ai is a great tool. And Envato Elements, take a picture of that, because this is going to actually edit the entire video for you after you record it. We're going to start doing this for clients just to save us a lot of time and creating some really good videos still, but that's cool. So the other 3 videos, create a listing walkthrough video and talk about the story, your favorite closing. So you just ask one of your clients while you're already taking pictures of their listing. You just walk around and say, hey, I'm here at a listing. I just wanted to tell a little story about my favorite closing that we ever had. I had a client who came in, 9 months ago, and they were paying $1,900 a month for their house payment, for their rent. And then I was able to help teach them different tools to blah, blah, blah. Exactly going through that individual story. And you got another 60-second video while you're already filming something at a listing. So you have that promo done, you've got that listing walkthrough video, and then a client testimonial while you're already there too. Maybe you have somebody that's there that's saying, hey, I'd love to have you answer these 3 different questions. And I can send you guys these 3 questions to Shoni of what you can ask for a customer testimonial if they're willing to do it. Those are the most powerful forms of storytelling. You can talk all day about what you do, but if a customer sells you, it's absolutely dynamic and it's super effective. I would definitely recommend getting a customer to tell a story about why they should work with you. And then lastly, you guys have a mobile office in your cars, right? I would do a video on there that you talk about why you're in real estate, just for 60 seconds. You don't have to cut to B-roll footage. You don't have to do anything like that. Just have a little video about yourself. The last suggestion I was going to have is for that story video. If you can, get a couple clips of some different things that you guys, or some different listings, or just pop it in through these different tools. Like Envato, for example, you can give it some prompts to put some different real estate video in the background while you're talking. I would suggest that as well, so the videos are more connective as well. And also choose cool music. That's really important. So focus on that. This is the tool that we use with our clients for huge projects, $30,000 jobs, $50,000 jobs, $10,000 jobs. We use this exact same formula for our large automotive clients. And I was just going to ask that if you guys ever have questions, know I'm always willing to jump on a call to answer and help you guys out and give you different tips. If you have clients that are in those spaces of automotive healthcare, I'd love to chat with them and see if we can use the same formula to help them with their businesses. If you guys would like, I actually have the correct QR code this time, I think. just scan that, go to my website, reach out to me if you have questions. I would love to help you out individually with your own businesses and see if there's clients that you have that I could help out as well. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Chandler, thank you. How many of you were prepared to give Spencer a call for a custom solution for yourself, right? The funny thing is, obviously, we know the process that we were going through there, but I kind of was just in my mind saying like, man, if I were a buyer, I would actually I would be responsive or listen to this conversation or this script because it hits on kind of the common points of just emotional connection that people are kind of looking for when it comes to social media content. So I highly recommend that you just take note from today and say, how can I use this strategically? Now, how many of you are just like, hey, I'm not quite the video person. I don't like to be on video content. Okay, a few of you. So like the reality is this can be used in an email format, in a text message format. So just think of the other layers or a written Facebook post. So it doesn't necessarily have to be video content. If you're willing to put yourself out there, obviously video content is king when it comes to content creation and attraction, but you can use this and repurpose it in other ways. That's my recommendation to think about. And so highly recommend it. Also, just like connect with Chandler. If you have clients that own businesses, that's kind of their core demographic. Anybody in the automotive space as well. He's a great connection to be able to help them to create content that helps with their company.